Katelyn, and for the SeaWorld Scholarship, I'm doing the Fairchild Challenge, the Million Orchid Project. For this experiment, we're trying to save 2 endangered orchid species as shown. I'm going to be using their common name throughout this entire video, and for this orchid, it's called the Florida Dancing Lady Orchid and the Florida Butterfly Orchid. And the reason why we're doing this experiment is because we're trying to figure out what is the correct moment to transplant these orchids from their mossy soil into their air dry like clay. The reason for this is because since the orchids are so delicate and also grow on trees, we want to figure out what is the correct moment to transplant them. Because since they're so endangered and because of deforestation, these are multiple reasons why they're endangered. Since orchids are so delicate, we seal them off in a sterilized steel container with charcoal and agar for nutrients. As they begin to sprout and grow inside the container, my research mentor, Mr. Pang, goes to a workshop to remove these orchids to place them in their stagnant moss and their specific trays. There's 2 trays of 1 to 24 orchids each. And since we don't want favoritism among the orchids, we randomly generated the numbers, 24 divided by the 4 to get 6 for each group. Green is for control, red is for 4 weeks, blue is for 8 weeks, and yellow for 12 weeks. These weeks indicate the transplant date that we're going to transplant these orchids into their air-like soil. As shown here is the randomization of the orchids so that we don't have any favoritism. We got the butterfly orchids here, butterfly orchid here, butterfly orchid here, and the dancing ladies over here, showing no favoritism among the orchids. We had a little incident going on throughout this entire experiment. As I went to go do my data collecting, I noticed that we have little caterpillars in the butterfly orchid container. We had to remove them because they were damaging the leaves of the orchids. As you can see here, you have a little bite mark here and also another indication of bite marks, also causing several deaths of the orchids in the containers. This is a picture shown of the 4-week transplant. We removed the sphagnum moss and we put lava rocks and red stickers. And for the 8 weeks, for the blue stickers, we also removed the sphagnum moss and put the lava rocks. As you can see here, since orchids are so delicate, even the control groups and other groups were affected as well and causing multiple deaths. Me and my research mentor, Mr. Perry, since he knew about the anatomy of the orchids and also how to transplant the orchids, he helped me and also better understand the orchids. As shown here, you can see one of the pictures up close of the leaves that we have to collect data at the roots of the orchid. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to remove the Dancing Lady Orchid, Blue 22, and what they're containing is called sphagnum moss, which is good for moisture holdment, and transplant them into lava rocks or hydrogen media. And for collecting data, we have to count the amount of leaves, which this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, about 4 and a half, 5 leaves. It also has, seeing how this is kind of like a bit rotten and dead, it shows it's 1, 2, 3 roots, possibly dead roots. But for this experiment, I'm going to plant them just in case to see if it will survive. Orchids have these new roots called velamen, and these new roots basically look like white, fuzzy, spongy-like new roots, which are very tiny. What I'm doing right now is putting a little bit of the sphagnum moss so that the orchid could have some sort of moisture, because since the lava rocks are basically dry, kind of clay-like material, and they also hold a bit of charcoal for nutrients, it would help these orchids learn how to start transitioning into their, kind of like when they're up in the trees, to transition to air drying. And what we have to do is basically water them a bit so that they can get settled in, not daily. And we have to water them weekly, about once a week. We do it on Fridays because that's when we have long weekends. And these are the orchids. We have LED lights because these are substitutes for sunlight, which they are in an enclosed environment. And yeah. As a requirement from Fairchild, and to get the message across the experiment that we're doing can make a difference, we need you, the viewers, to tweet. Go on to Twitter and tweet anything that you have learned from this video, and use Southwest Senior High School, use hashtag the Million Orchid Project or the @ the Fairchild Challenge.